Welcome to another episode of Cooking on the Fry. What I'm going to do right now is try to make a Reuben pizza using thin, crisp rye crackers. These crackers kind of look the size of pizzas, and I wonder, given that they're rye crackers, if I could make a Reuben pizza. What fun! So let's give it a try and see what happens. So in addition to the crackers, what I'm using for ingredients is this light Thousand Island dressing that I bought at Safeway, mainly because the ingredients start off with water and tomato paste, not canola oil, and it seems to have a lot less calories than many of the other Thousand Island dressings. Another ingredient I'm using is turkey pastrami, which costs way less than real pastrami. And I'm using the Safeway thin sliced Swiss cheese to cover my pizza. Oh, and last and certainly not least, fresh Claussen sauerkraut. So let's get the show on the road. The first thing I'm going to do is get my cooking technology preheated. I'm going to preheat this oven to about 280. I have done some experiments in that particular pizza pan with the thin crisp big round crackers, and they can withstand about 300 for a while without burning. Remember, we're not out to cook the pizza crust. It's already done. We're just out to get ingredients on top of it into something like a pizza. And now I'm going to use my nonstick pan to do a little pre-cooking of the pastrami and get the moisture out of the sauerkraut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my front burner here to just below medium so I can get that up and going while I'm prepping some of the other ingredients. Okay, I've got my turkey pastrami out of its packaging, and I've got my roast carving knife out, and what I'm going to do is cut this pastrami into thin slices, and this is what this roast carving knife is really good for. So let's see here. So there we go. Thin slice. So I'll do a couple more just to show how easy this is when you have the right knife. And yeah, it is a little sticky, but the beautiful thing is these absolutely do not have to be perfect at all. The idea is to just get this turkey pastrami thinly sliced so it can go on something like a pizza. So you get the idea, and I'm going to slice up the rest of it. And I've also decided that I'm going to cut this, now that I've got this in sections or in lengthwise slices, I'm going to cut it widthwise so I can be kind of flexible in the way I put it on the pizza crust. So there we go. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do with the pastrami here is cook it a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. I am not going to rely on my oven to do all the cooking here. I want this pastrami to be kind of nice, and even though it's cooked, I want it to be cooked like it wants to go on a pizza. I should have split up some of these a little better before I put these in here. Well, that's not here. Okay. There you go. And I'm just going to let these cook and warm up for a few minutes. In fact, I'm going to cover it. There we go. And set this for about 3 minutes. Well, it's been about 3 minutes, and Sorry, well, let's see how the pastrami is doing. I really just want it browned a little bit. Yeah, it is browning a little bit. Good. Well, let's flip it over. Good. And notice my oven is preheated now to slightly below 300. So I want to get these pastrami slices, divided up. That one's still, oh, that's a whole piece. Okay, well, deal with that later. Get these flipped over, and as much as I can, get them browned. Perfection is not essential for this little experiment. And I'm going to cover those up and leave them. I'm going to just let them brown away and leave them for about 4 minutes at least. There we go. Now to spread my Swiss cheese over the rye crust, quote unquote. Very glad I got the thinly sliced stuff. I don't really want a ton of cheese on here. The point isn't to see how much cheese I can eat in one sitting. So you can just at least try to be a little bit artistic when I put this cheese out here. Now, wow, this really is thin slice. This is nice. This is good. There we go. Good enough. Well, back to the pastrami. The pastrami has been in here for another 5 minutes. I just took the cover off, and it's browning kind of nicely. Getting a lot of moisture out of it, which I didn't expect, which is kind of good because I don't want all that moisture going onto my nice little pizza crust. But right now I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about this. I think I kind of got the pastrami kind of browned, and that's all fine and good. Maybe I should transfer this to a plate and then just see if I can, I don't know, get some of the moisture out with a paper towel or something. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to get these pastramis out of here. Onto a plate. And I'm going to put this camera down and speed the process a little bit by dumping them out, but I can't do that while I hold this. Well, it turns out that doesn't look so bad. I am just going to let those sit there for a couple minutes while I do one more thing for this Reuben pizza. It may seem a little weird, but what I'm going to do is try to, with the heat now on low, I'm going to try to cook off a little bit of the excess moisture on this sauerkraut before I put it on the pizza. Well, this will be interesting. I've never done this before. I wonder what'll happen. Let's see. Let's grab some of this sauerkraut. And some more. What fun. I wonder if that'll be enough. Yeah, I'll get a little more. What else am I going to use this sauerkraut for anyway? Got a lot of it. And I'm going to spread that around and let it lose some moisture. Realize something about this pizza. I'm going to take some of these cheese slices back off again. Not too many of them. It's kind of interesting that it's the cheese that melts into the rye cracker that makes it sliceable when this is all said and done. So I'm going to, rearrange this a little bit and leave a few slices of cheese to put on the top after I get the rest of my toppings on this thing. Let's see how our sauerkraut is doing here. Now the point is not to saute sauerkraut. The point is just to get some of that sogginess out of it so that the oven can basically just melt the cheese. See, a lot of steam is coming out of here. That means that a lot of that moisture is coming out of the sauerkraut, which is what I wanted. Well, it's been a couple minutes. I think the sauerkraut is right where I want it, so I can turn this off and start assembling this Reuben pizza. Well, I've got my pastrami there, and I've got my sauerkraut here, and some extra Swiss cheese down there, and I've got my pizza to be here. So here we go. Let's build this Reuben pizza quickly. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to be able to get all the pastrami on there. Looks like I'm going to be having, oh, it's kind of thick. I'm going to be having pastrami for breakfast or lunch or something tomorrow. I've got some extra. But I don't think I'm going to be able to eat this thing either in one night. So go for the thin slices. Obviously, some thin deli pastrami would probably be way better, but I'm just too cheap to get that right now. And a couple more of these on here, and then we'll get the sauerkraut on here. Wow, it's way hotter than it looks, actually. I'm going to count on the oven to, well, get some more of the moisture out of there, but the bottom line is I don't want the cracker itself that this is based on to become waterlogged, because that could easily happen. There we go. And put some cheese over the top, which was the plan for the extra cheese here. So I'll put cheese there and there, here, and here. Okay, there we go. Now, let's get this into the oven. Oh, wow, there's already something in the oven. Well, I wasn't very attentive there. Let's get the thing that's in the oven out of the oven. Good. And now let's get the Reuben pizza in there. Wow, I can adjust the shutter on the fly while shooting a video. How cool is that? So there it is. I'm going to leave it in there for 10 minutes and check up on it. Okay, see you in 10. As you can probably see, I snuck in there and I put some Thousand Island dressing on top of this pizza so I can see if it behaves like pizza sauce in the oven. Okay, folks, there it is, a Reuben thin crisp pizza. Here we go. I'm going to hold it, it's kind of hot. I'm going to hold it with my oven mitt on one side of this pizza pan, and then I'm going to slice it and see what we get. Okay, there we go. Sliced all the way through. Pivot. And it's working just fine because the cheese has melted into the thin crisp cracker. So that's working out just fine. There it is. That is a Reuben pizza. Let's see how it tastes. Wow, you know what? It tastes better than it looks. All the elements of the Reuben sandwich are there. There's the rye, the sauerkraut, the pastrami, the Thousand Island. This totally works. Man, I am very proud of myself right now. I'm going to go slice this up and have some dinner. What a fun experiment. Well, anything I can do, you can do better, and maybe you could upgrade this by getting some genuine deli-type pastrami instead of my turkey stuff. But right now, this is looking pretty good. That's all for now. Bye.